Welcome to Empower Hour. Let's get growing. Good morning. So good to be here. I'm just looking to see what Jose's doing with the screen. Okay, perfect. Welcome, everyone. Today is one of my favorite things in the world, and it's going to be just an introduction to vision casting. So first, I want to say hello to anybody that's in StreamYard. We have people on LinkedIn. We have people on Instagram, Facebook, all the different places. Welcome. I am so grateful. We also have joining us today are some of the women from Sigma Women Rise. Jose, if you can put that website up. This is actually my dear friend and client, one of her initiatives, an amazing community. And I'm going to be hosting a longer vision casting workshop on October 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. in conjunction with the Sigma Women Rise. What a beautiful initiative by Claudia. Where are you, Claudia? Are you here? She's here, right? Claudia Rodriguez. She's amazing. And so check out the website. You do have to be a woman. We're not being exclusive, but it is an amazing organization, and obviously also looking for men to support the efforts. This is just a great spot for women to get into the next chapter of their life. So thank you so much, Claudia, for partnering with me on that October 16th workshop. And for today, all of you that are here, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we're going to now get into vision casting. So what is vision casting? Vision casting is taking goal setting to a soul level. And I'll give you an example. If I didn't go through the process of vision casting when I was building my coaching business, I would not have been able to build the business that supports the life of my dreams. So what does that mean? So oftentimes when we launch a business, we forget to get clarity on what we want. And what do I mean by that? What we want in every area of our life. One of the things I see happening the most with business owners and entrepreneurs is that the business ends up dictating, designing what your life looks like. So vision casting is taking that time to gain clarity on every area of your life that you want to grow in. And I'm talking about real clarity, being able to visualize where you want to be in every area of your life 10 years from now, and then creating a blueprint of how to get there. And doing this process, I am admittedly a workaholic, 100%. But the difference between now and how I was maybe 5 years ago, still workaholic. However, I have harmony in my life. And you hear a lot about work-life balance. Well, guess what? Most of us entrepreneurs really aren't that great at that. And I almost think that that's impossible. Balance alone takes so much energy. Think about people who balance for a living, like tightrope ropers, right? Tightrope walkers. They don't have an ounce of fat on their body because they burn so much energy up trying to stay in balance. Well, the process of vision casting allows you to create harmony, which is even better than balance. And when you think of harmony, think of a beautiful symphony orchestra and all the different sections, the strings section and the percussion section and the vocals section. And they each have their moment, and then they come together and create this beautiful symphony. And that's what vision casting is. So when you're a little bit of a workaholic like me, when you have clearly defined all the areas in your life which are a priority and you want to grow in, even if you are over here working 13-hour days, at least 5 days a week, and then working half the weekends because you love it and you're focused and you're on a mission, none of the other areas of your life suffer because you have set the intention and you are paying attention, putting your attention on those intentions and not just letting them go. I don't have time. So if I'm focusing on my business, I don't have time for my family. This is an illusion that we create and we design. And then we start to feel stressed, overwhelmed, get burnt out. And then we do things that aren't healthy for us, maybe drinking too much or binge watching TV to kind of de-stress and decompress. And there we are sucking up more of that time that we don't have enough of just to keep ourselves feeling balanced. I hope the internet is okay. I have to tell you, I'm on my third different internet this morning. I'm now on my Starlink Mini, hoping it's okay. I don't know what's going on today, but it's a little shaky. So it all begins with that clarity. And if you've heard me talk or you're one of my clients and you know me, I talk about the 3 C's of soulful prosperity: clarity, confidence, and certainty. And so clarity is that compass, the compass that lets you know exactly how to make the right choices, how to decide what your schedule looks like, how to set your priorities. And like I said in the beginning, had I not done the vision casting, I would not have built this business that I am now completely 100% remote. And I'm living my nomadic life right now, which is just amazing and beautiful. For the year, who knows where I'll be and what I'll be doing next year. But this was my deepest desire. And when I launched my business a year in, although, yep, I broke the 6 figures, got past 150,000 in the first year, incredibly amazing, grateful. But guess what? I was doing it in person. I had not had that clarity. I wasn't leading with the clarity of what I wanted. I was so eager and maybe some desperation to get clients that I was going against my own desires. I was already starting the pattern of allowing the business to design my life. But because I spent like the whole year, which is why, you guys, this is not a one and done. Definitely you're going to want to register for the October 16th. Make sure you drop your email in. If you registered to be here today, you will get access to that. If not, drop your email in or email me directly later to make sure you get that information. I literally did a whole entire year of vision casting. So probably about 6 or 7 times that year, because I have so many areas in my life that I want to grow in and that I want clarity on. And so had I not taken the time to do all that vision casting and be so crystal clear on the desires that I have in my life and the areas that I want to grow and what I want my life to look like and who I want to become in that process, I would not have the life that I have right now. And I am incredibly grateful. I feel incredibly blessed. It's not always super easy, but it is always rewarding. I am living my purpose. I am fulfilled. And so clarity is that foundation. And that's what we're going to talk about. And when you don't have clarity, everything is noise. All of that noise comes in, and there's more noise today than ever before, and it distracts you. And the next thing you know, you're not aligned with your own deepest desires. And that's what happened to me. And so when you have that clarity, you're moving with power and grace and aligned momentum. And when I say aligned, we're talking about aligned with your deepest desires. So this is an internal, soul-based process, not an external goal exercise. Yes, there's definitely going to be external goals on here. Hey, some of mine are like always fly first class and have a helicopter. I'd love to have that. Now, when I was in my career, for real estate career for 30 years, I was completely out of line. Why? Because I had no idea of who I was, what I wanted, and why. What was my purpose? And so now that I have spent so much time defining that, I'm not at risk of all of a sudden waking up and wondering, how did I get here? Anybody can relate to that? Has that ever happened to you? You just don't even know how you ended up in this place in life. Well, that will never happen to me again. And, you know, there's moments where I can see old patterns, which for me is people pleasing and doing things to please others. And clients were a big part of that for me. But I'm able to recognize it right away and rein myself right back in. So we're going to today begin the process of shifting from dreaming and just putting goals out there to embodying alignment to your desired outcomes. And now you've probably heard of doing vision boards, which is an absolute amazing and beautiful tool to support vision casting. However, it is all about the embodiment and making a path to align yourself with the choices, habits, actions, decisions that align with your desired future outcome. We're going to go from I wish to I am. We're going to embody the future version of ourselves, the version of you that has accomplished all of your goals already. So we're just going to get a little taste of this today. And so what I want to start with right now is I want you to take some time. I hope you have pen and paper. If not, text yourself, put it in the chat, put it in the comments. I want you to begin to think about every area in your life that is a priority for you to grow in. Business, money, relationships, health, peace, freedom, adventure, creativity. Take this moment and define that. This is where the harmony comes in. When we clearly define all the areas in our life that we want to grow, they don't get neglected. We're not sacrificing one area of our life over another. Even though, like right now, I am hyper focused on building and growing my business. But I can honestly tell you, you guys, my relationships in my life are the best they've ever been. I'm supporting my mom right now through a health journey that is scary, and me being present and providing her with a sense of peace and safety is a number one priority for me. My relationship with my granddaughter and being able to spend as much quality time with her as possible while growing a business and being a workaholic and being nomadic is a priority for me. And I can honestly say that I have a deep, beautiful relationship with my granddaughter and spend probably more quality time with her than somebody that lives next door or with their grandchild. And that is because I have clearly defined that as a priority for me. And I have visualized what that looks like What are the actions, the choices, and the behaviors of the world's best grandma? It's really important to me. And if you've seen her, she's so cute. Of course it is. Adventure. Adventure is an area of life which is top priority to me. And if you have ever gone on a day trip with me or been on vacation with me, the next thing you know, we're like lost in the woods, barefoot, swimming in a stream. That is a very, very important part of my life. So that's why taking this year to be nomadic, while it's not always easy, I walk into new scenarios regularly and I have to figure out my Wi-Fi setup, my work setup, and all the things and restart. But it was a priority to me. And I've been here in Florida for a little over about a month, and I have spent an amazing time in Sarasota on the beach. There's some of the most amazing sunsets. I was in Lake Nona, just an absolutely beautiful area. And now I'm in Palm Coast, getting to walk the beach and all these beautiful birds and butterflies everywhere. It's been spectacular. However, I've been working probably almost 70 hours a week since I've been here, but yet I still was able to have these adventures, support my mom. I'm going home this weekend to spend not going to New York, to spend lots of beautiful time with my granddaughter, and it feels in harmony. So what are those areas of your life? Is there something that you want to learn? And here, yes, of course, you can add external goals in here. There's nothing wrong. I truly believe that we are meant to have it all. So please take that time and get those areas clearly defined. And now I want you to just pick one area. Get yourself grounded, get yourself comfortable, and close your eyes. And as you've identified this one area, and we're going to do this for every area, not today. You can do this when you go home. You're going to get the replay. Make sure we have your email if you didn't register. And you can do this over and over. Also, we're going to do this plus many other exercises on October 16th, 6 to 8 p.m. So you're going to want to attend that. But for right now, let's just close our eyes and let's pick one area. Maybe it's the number one thing for you. Maybe it's that thing that you've been procrastinating on, or starting and stopping, or that thing where you're creating the illusion, I just don't have enough time. Let's identify that one area of your life in which you want to grow. And when you have it clearly defined in your mind, I want you now to take some time to visualize it. Let's go all the way 10 years out. 10 years from now, this goal is accomplished, has been accomplished. Maybe you've even moved on to other goals. Or perhaps for you, it's better to visualize a year or 3 years from now when this goal is initially accomplished. Get this vision in your head. Where are you? Who are you with? What are you wearing? How did you get there? How are you living? How do you walk? How do you talk? What kind of physical shape are you in? Get this visualization in color and let's get it into 3D. What are the sounds? What are the smells? What is the weather like? And what are the emotions that you are embodying as this future version of yourself? Excuse me. What are the emotions that you feel when you realize this accomplishment, this journey that you have been through? Who have you become in the process of accomplishing this goal? Just get this vision of this version of yourself crystal clear. Bring it in color, 3D, sounds, smells, sights. And make sure you have this goal so clear, this goal accomplished. How has it impacted you? How has it impacted the loved ones in your life? And sometimes this takes a little bit of practice. Visualization is something that took me a little bit of time to develop that muscle. But it's been the absolute most powerful practice in building a business that supports the life of my dreams. And so now I want you to take this future version of yourself, this version of yourself that has accomplished this major desire of yours, something that was so important to you, that you gained the clarity. And I want you to think about, to become, or to be right now, this future version of yourself that has accomplished this goal. What beliefs must you release? What are the things that you are telling yourself? That I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I'm not smart enough, I don't have enough influence. What are those beliefs? What patterns do you get to release? For me, the pattern was putting clients and everybody before myself for that one goal of building a business that supports the life of my dreams. And the limiting belief around that was if I put myself first, I wouldn't be as good of a coach. And fact is, I'm an even better coach when I put myself first and I make sure that I am moving forward in all the areas of my life that I have identified as being important to me. Now, take a moment and think about this future version of yourself. What habits do they have? What do they do when they wake up? Right? One of my goals is world-class coach. And so I had to align my daily actions, choices, decisions, everything around what that future version of me who's a world-class coach, which I am now, because I embody that. I visualize what are those habits, actions, choices, and I align every aspect of my life with that desired outcome. My schedule reflects that of a world-class coach. My relationships reflect that of a world-class coach. My eating habits, my exercise habits all reflect that of a world-class coach. I was on the phone with a friend yesterday who I haven't spoken to in a long time. She called me by accident, and then we ended up talking for a while. And she's like, "Oh, wow, I'm just loving watching, this success that you're having." She's like, "I have so many friends that have tried to be a coach." And I guess what it is if you actually just focus on being a coach, then you can be successful. And I'm laughing. I'm like, duh, right? Sorry, Garrett, love you. But of course. But it's so hard when we don't have this kind of clarity that we're gaining right now, because there is so much distractions out there. There's all the external distractions, and then there's all the internal distractions. I don't know about you guys, but my brain alone creates a whole dialogue of distractions and excuses and limiting beliefs and habits that get in the way, and so on and so forth. So if we don't create this kind of clarity, envision that future version of yourself, and then figure out what are their habits, what are their standards, what kind of choices do they make, what kind of relationships do they have in their life, what are they learning, what kind of self-care do they have in place. And this begins the blueprint. So for each area of your life, you're going to do this visualization, and you're going to see who you have become in that process of achieving these goals and these desires. And then you design that blueprint. What are the habits? What are the choices? How do they eat? How do they wake up? How do they end the day? How do they interact with people? What kind of communication do they use? What level of mastery have they acquired in their communication? Guys, this was one of the most important things for me to learn. Pretty much all the struggles that I had in my life came from a fear of difficult conversations. Literally, my whole business blew up because of that. So the future version of me, the world-class coach, the world's greatest grandmother, the beautiful, healthy, sexy, fit 6-year-old that I envision, has amazing communication skills. And that is on my blueprint. And my choices, my habits, and my actions on a daily basis align with that. I discovered my future version of me as a master communicator, and I've been working on NLP mastery and all other kinds of communication mastery. I took a 5 or 6 month course on mindfulness communication, mindful communication, taught by a world master in it, Jack Hornfield and Tara Brach. because I know that pretty much all those future versions of me for all of my goals, mastering communication is key. And although I am a workaholic, I still manage to fit that in because I have the clarity and I'm creating the harmony of developing and growing in every area of my life that aligns with the life of my dreams and the life of my desires. At 51 years old, I realized I was living a life by default. No more. And so you get this kind of clarity. Now I want you to look at, what does your life look like now, right? Where are you at now with your habits, your actions, and your choices? And where are you in the future version of you who has achieved these goals? This is the integrity gap. So what's between here and there? What do you need to learn? What do you need to start doing? What do you need to stop doing? This visualization even goes down to, how do you show up? What is the energy that you embody? What are the values that you live by? What standards do you uphold? And we don't wait. We don't wait till the timing is right and everything is perfect. We design this blueprint of this future version of ourselves, and we begin to take aligned action today. This is where the traction comes in, where it happens faster and better. And oftentimes we also don't want to be so fixed on what we think these outcomes look like. Because oftentimes when we begin to take the aligned action and we start asking these kind of questions, who am I? Who do I want to become? Why am I here? What is the greater good that I serve? The path opens and the world begins to coordinate to make those things happen for you. And it all begins with that clarity. So I ask you guys, what is one aligned action that you can take today, starting today? Let's see it in the comments. Nobody's going to take any aligned action today. Have you been able to visualize this future version of yourself? Because that is where it begins. Nancy, you are saying that each one of these areas can be a priority in our life. Absolutely. Every area in your life in which you want to grow, every desire that you want to achieve, we create the clarity, we do the visualization, see it all the way out, whether that's 1 year, 3 years, 10 years from now. What is that version of myself and who did I become in that process? And then you follow the breadcrumbs backwards and you design a blueprint of what it takes to get there. And then you embody those actions, those choices, those habits. What is it that you need to learn? What is it you need to start doing? What is it that you need to stop doing? Does that help, Nance? Yeah, so important. When we don't know what we want, let's just talk about this for a second. I see so much. Okay, so the woman who's on her second divorce, I'm going to talk about relationships. But sometimes that's why, I have good insight because I haven't quite got there yet. But seriously, I see so often in marriages or in friendships, partnerships, business partnerships, even client relationships, where we're frustrated with the other person because they're not giving us what we need. How can they know what we want when we have not even clearly defined what we want? And this is where this does create healthier relationships. I used to think boundaries were these like laws I had to set down and people had to follow them. But guess what, you guys? When I clearly defined who I am, why I'm here, and what I want, I didn't have to set any boundaries. I embody them. People weren't overstepping and doing the things that triggered me my entire life. That no longer happens to me. And it's because I learned to honor what is important to me. But I started, Claudia, with the clarity of exactly what I want. But we take that out to having clarity in every area of our life and create that harmony. So that, yes, while we may be over here hyper focused, this summer, my number one priority was family and clients. Me first, that goes without saying. So building my business was put on over here. It wasn't in that top three, right? Me, family, and clients. My business has not stalled. My business has only grown. The opportunities are bigger and they are greater because I am so clear and I still align my habits, my actions, and my choices. And I'm still moving forward with faith always in growing and building my business. And so I didn't have as many people in my group coaching that I would have had I had different priorities, but it wasn't negatively impacted and it grew in a very positive, beautiful way. And now for October, November, and December, my number one priority is growing the business. But my family will not be neglected. My health will not be neglected. My adventure will not be neglected because I have my intentions set and so clear. Write a love letter to our future self with what our future self will look like. Well, absolutely. You can write a letter. I prefer the visualization process personally, so that you can really get into that 3D of seeing the colors, feeling the emotions, or maybe write the letter first if that helps you with the visualization. But I love love letters. Like if you have money blocks, write love letters to money. Dear money, I am so grateful for all that you do for me, how you show up for me whenever I need you to. And I am extremely excited about all of our future adventures that we're going to have together. This is one of my favorite exercises. So whatever those blocks are, if you're looking to attract love in your life, write a letter to that future version. Being able to visualize is such a powerful tool for every area of your life. Even in the areas like, say you have relationships that you are struggling with, and you could take the time, maybe it's your husband or a business partner or a client or a friend, and you could take the time to visualize that person, the highest and best version of themselves, the version of them where you had a beautiful conversation and had great communication with each other. And go ahead and visualize maybe a complicated, difficult conversation that you have been avoiding, and visualize that conversation with you at your highest and best and them at their highest and best, having that conversation and it having the desired effect and result that you are looking for in that conversation and in that relationship. Do that first and then have that conversation in person. And I guarantee you, you get the results that you are looking for, because it all begins with clarity. And clarity means no judgment, no preconceived decisions on how things are going to go or how people are going to behave and how they're going to respond. So, right, that's with our relationships. But then with our desired goals and our desired outcomes, when we take this time to vision cast in every area, those limiting beliefs and those voices, that are talking you out of your deepest desires, they disappear. So for me, I'll give you an example. Quitting alcohol was important to me for so many years of my life. Zero judgment here, you guys. Alcohol, it's a personal choice. Everything you do in your life. My theory is, if it makes you happy and it feels good, do it. But if you get to a point where you're not happy and you don't feel good, this is anything in your life, then don't do it. So that was me and alcohol. And one day, for some reason, I went back and read my journals. And this is why, Nancy, not just the letter, because I was using my journal regularly. And I was writing in this journal, I wish I didn't drink so much. I wish I drank less. I wish I didn't drink vodka. I'm just going to drink spiked seltzer. And I didn't actually, at this point in my life, there's been plenty of points in my life where I had major alcohol related issues and shouldn't have drank. But for the last many years, that wasn't the case. It was kind of a fun part of my life and a big part of my persona. But I had a deep desire, and I didn't even consciously was aware of it till I went back and read the diaries and saw that. I wish I drank less. I wish this, I wish that. And I was like, mind blown. Then I used the vision casting on the future version of myself. And you guys, I made a decision to not drink. Oh, no, before that. So I read the diary, and then a couple of days later, and all of a sudden it was so clear to me that that was a deep desire of mine, that I didn't want to drink alcohol. And a couple of days later, so I decided, okay, I'm not going to drink anymore. So a couple of days later, end of a long day, home, it's like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. And I hear the voice, you should have a glass of wine. I literally am like, who said that? I know it's not me, because I have clearly defined and seen in my journal that my deepest desire is to not drink alcohol. And so that's when I realized I needed to take it to another level. I needed to embody my desired outcome on a soul level. And I applied the vision casting process to not drinking. And I just but I just passed 4 years alcohol free, and I have never had a single desire. That voice disappeared. That voice that talks you out of your deepest desires. Do you all know the voice that I'm talking about? When you have this kind of clarity, you are able to observe. That is not you. That is old programming. That is old patterns. That are limited beliefs. It's not you. Because now I know who I am, what I want, and why. And I got most of that through this vision casting process. And so in my coaching, I talk a lot about the 3 C's, the clarity, the confidence, and the certainty. And so the process is gaining this clarity, starting with the vision casting. And then, right, it's your compass. Then you begin to gain confidence and it gets easier. And that only comes through the repetition of daily aligned habits, actions, and choices. One of my favorite quotes, and I don't even know who said it, I have to look it up, but 99% is a bitch and 100% is a breeze. And so when you have that clarity and you create that blueprint and you begin to design your life around that desired outcome and those habits, actions, and choices, and you embody it now, I am a world-class coach. Then you begin to get that confidence and then you move into certainty. And that's where it becomes easy. Like not drinking. I have not even had like even one thought, and I can hang out with all my friends, go out, have fun, sing karaoke, dance, do whatever. I'm still completely out of my mind, sober. And it's amazing. But it became easy, something that I was obviously and clearly struggling with for many years, even though it was my deepest desire. So that, Nance, is why going beyond the letter, taking it to that visualization, creating the blueprint of what that future version looks like. How do they spend their days? What do they eat? What do they drink? How do they sleep? All of it. You can't hustle your way into alignment. And that's what I spent the bulk of my adult life believing. If I just worked hard enough, I would find that joy and that freedom. And that is what we get from vision casting. I live in a space of joy, freedom, and ease. And I will tell you right now, the circumstances in my life, if you looked at, I have a black hole from my business blowing up and my marriage blowing up that I am getting myself out of. And I love every moment of it. It feels great. It doesn't feel scary and overwhelming. So it's not like on paper or everything is easy. No, but it feels aligned. It feels right. I always know now what the next right thing to do is because I have so much clarity on what I want. And one of the greatest gifts that has come out of this is when I have a new scenario or entering a new relationship or somebody proposes something to me or taking on a new client, whatever, I literally start with now, what's in it for me? Is this aligned with what my desired outcomes and results are? Yes or no? So powerful. So powerful. Nancy, you are well on your way. Okay. You are well on your way and you are in alignment. So just know that you already are. You don't need to want this. Just embody it. And then you get to make adjustments along the way. Yes, we get a little off the path or we get a little distracted. It's very easy right now. And you guys, it's not that I don't have deep empathy and sadness and all the things for so much that is happening, or even some anger or some confusion. Anthony, spot on. And taking the time, right? It's important to have the repetition of visualization of that beautiful future every day. Yes. But the gift, when you give yourself the gift of the time and the space, I visualize every single morning. I have set my life up. I sleep with my headphones because I put on like binaural beats and different things to do my half-hour meditation, visualization, activations. But it's right there on my bed. I have my blindfold, I have my headphones, and I have the only thing, the phone's not allowed in my room, but I have an iPad that only has my self-development apps on it. So I play that music and I do my visualization every morning, and giving myself that gift and that space helps me to be aligned. I start my day aligned with being a world-class coach, with being a woman who lives in joy, ease, freedom, knowing. And yes, Claudia, the details. And so taking that time and that space to create that big visualization, and then taking time and space every day to continue to visualize that and to affirm who you are and who you are becoming. We're just looking at my notes here. Oh yeah, going back to that, I thought my whole entire life I could hustle my way into this version of myself that was a better version, but I had no clarity on what it looked like or what the habits were and the choices and the actions and the behaviors and the relationships and the level of health and the mental health, the spiritual health, all of it. I didn't know what that looked like. So I'm just working and working and working. Meanwhile, I'm not present. I wasn't present for my children. I will definitely not, well, I am kind of the mother of the year now and the world's greatest grandma. But I can tell you that my children don't have every opportunity in the world, because I was a hot mess for the first 14 years of my eldest daughter's life and the first 10 years of my youngest daughter's life. Maybe the numbers are off, but because I was so focused on hustling my way into a life that I thought I just wanted, but I didn't even know what I wanted. I was hustling my way into a life that society really told me I wanted. I had no idea what I wanted or who I wanted to be or who I was meant to be. And now having that kind of clarity, even when difficult circumstances, and Lord knows you guys, they come, I no longer need them now. Those difficult circumstances have helped me become the version of who I am today. All the people that hurt me or did things, all these, my perceptions of them doing me wrong and blah, blah, blah. Nobody. I am unshakable. I am anti-fragile. And that is not toughness. I also spent my entire life being tough and gritty. I'm not. I don't need to be tough to be unshakable. I just need to have the clarity and know who I am. And nobody can take any of that away from me. Nobody can impact my life. They don't have that kind of power, because when I take this time and I create this clarity, I am fully empowered. I am the most empowered version of myself. Wow. Whew. God, that feels good. So if you have any other thoughts or questions, now would be the time. My legs fell asleep. And so this is the type of work that we do. Well, first, I just want to thank Sigma Women Rise for being here today and joining us. Nance, your first step is to continue this vision casting. Definitely show up for October 16th, but between now and then, I want you to identify clearly all the areas of your life in which you want to grow and visualize out to the future and create that blueprint for all those areas. And we're going to do more of that on October 16th. And take your time. Don't rush through this. Take a week, take a month on one goal. This is the time of year. We're not supposed to come out January and change our lives. This is the time of year to begin reflecting, begin planting those seeds. And then come in the spring is when you want to just transform. That's why I wear this butterfly, reminding me of that transformation into this future version. However, we begin the embodiment and the alignment now. Yes, the blueprint is super important. Jose, if you can put up the Sigma Women Rise website again for a moment. Thank you all so much. Claudia, I love you. I am so proud of you and this community that you have built. I'm so excited to be supporting this community and helping you grow it. Any women on here today, this is an amazing, amazing asset in your life to help create this kind of clarity, to be around like-minded women. And if anything that I have spoken about today resonates with you and you are ready to build the life to build the business, I now have 2 amazing ways to do that. Anybody that has worked with me up till now, it's been a very, very, a pretty large investment. Jose, if you can put the ticker and the yes. So, and put the yes, thank you. So I have now finally, because I have this clarity, I could not figure out a way to offer my 6-month program to people who are solopreneurs and thank you, Anthony, and entrepreneurs in a more affordable way that is also less time consuming for me, because I was giving so much of my time. It was hard to not charge what I needed to charge to make myself whole. And so now I have launched the Beyond Limits Business of Becoming Solo Entrepreneur program. And then I still have, Jose, you have both of these are group coaching. I hope that you did it wrong. The group coaching is for the solo entrepreneurs. And then I have my one-on-one coaching, which is for teams and companies and businesses. So sorry, the graphic is a little wrong, but don't worry about it. Whatever you want to investigate, I want to get on a deep dive call with you, and I want to help you begin this process of vision casting and creating this kind of clarity so that you too can build a business that supports the life of your dreams. So thank you so much for being here today. I hope to see you all on October 16th so we can continue this journey of vision casting and we can begin to align our choices, habits, and actions with this future version of ourselves. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you next month.